Good evening, everybody. I'll call to order the regular board meeting of the Batavia Public Library District for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Yes. Collada? Here. Beachman?
Here.
Ward? Here. Hubbard? Here. Larson?
Here.
Russo?
Here.
Lasano? Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And Andrew, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to number 4 on our agenda, comments from the audience. Is there anyone here or online who would like to speak to the board? Moving on then, number 5, would someone like to make a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, and I will second that motion.
A motion by Trustee Ford and a second by Trustee Fasano. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Number 6, tonight's agenda has 2 items. The items are the regular board meeting minutes for March 19th, 2024, and the financials for March 2024. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as stated.
And a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Trustee Larson and a second by Trustee Fasano. Any I'm sorry, Colada.
Just helping them.
I think she's Italian too, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's that roll call that I was trying to be sure to get. Any discussion? Then Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Yes. Collada?
Aye.
Beachman?
Aye.
Ford? Aye. Hubbard?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Russo?
Aye.
Lasano? Aye.
And the consent agenda is approved. Number 7 is a new proposal which we discussed at the COW meeting 2 weeks ago. And this is Batavia Public Library becoming fine-free starting July 1st, 2024.
Right, and so, excuse me, by vote, when you vote, this is going to include the following. It's going to discontinue charging late fees for all materials except Library of Things. It will remove the $5 processing fees for lost, or I'm looking at page 18 of your packet. Remove the $5 processing fees for lost or damaged items. Patrons will still be charged a replacement fee for lost or damaged items. And remove the $2 processing fee for library card replacements. It also is changing the threshold for referring patrons to Unique Management Services, which is a collection agency, from $25 to $100. And this means once a patron owes $100 or more for lost or damaged items, we refer them to a collection agency to contact the patron about their bill instead of $25, which is a pretty low amount. And then I have down below that the wording you can use for the motion. Any questions about the fine freeze?
Joe, would you just explain a little bit about the background and how the library...
Sure. So, as we're part of the SWAN consortium, and there's over 100 libraries in that consortium, and 96 of those libraries in SWAN are public libraries, and 83% are fine-free, meaning they have already removed late fees from their circulation policy. So the remaining 17% of public libraries are mostly made up of very small libraries that rely a little bit more on revenue that's generated from fines. But Tinley Park and Batavia Public Library are the only 2 larger libraries that are still charging for fines. The revenue that comes from overdue fines, our revenue that comes from overdue fines is roughly 0.17 to 0.22% of our total revenue. I believe, Joe, you gave me another, it was like 1/5 of 1% or something. Yeah, so, I mean, of our budget. So it's just minuscule. So going fine-free will help, develop positive relationships with patrons and remove barriers to service. And the fine-free model is proven to be equally effective in terms of items being returned on time. So, is that any more questions or?
What's this, what do Geneva, St. Charles, and Messenger do?
They do not charge fines. Those are our neighboring libraries, right? We are the only one of the 4 that still have late fees.
I think you said at the committee of the whole meeting that the length of overdue, the time frame average goes from 13 days to 14 days when you get rid of fines, so
Yes.
there's no real significant difference.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The impact on the library, it'll have a more positive impact on the library than it will a negative impact. In fact, it'll only be a positive impact. Because I think that if somebody owes a lot of fines on their card, oftentimes they choose not to even come into the library. And we don't want to prevent people from using the library. We want to encourage them to use it, even if they have a book that's overdue. We don't want them to be embarrassed or frustrated by these overdue fines and then stop using the library. And so the protection is still in place where if they do not return books and they're overdue, after a certain amount of time, there is a lock on their card. So they won't be able to use their library card until they return the books. They don't have to pay any fines, they just have to return the books. And that is the ultimate goal, is to get the books back. We're not here to make money off of people. So if their card is blocked, they can't use it online, they can't use it in the library, they can't use it for anything. And all they have to do is return the books. There will be no fines. And so in that sense, it encourages people to return books if they're overdue because they're not being penalized. And they don't have to worry about, can I afford these fines? Because if they have 10 books checked out, and, it adds up very quickly.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I move that we approve Batavia Public Library becoming a fine-free library.
Including
Us,
No, she wrote it.
including, that's
Page
including
18.
removing processing fees and increasing the collection agency referral that should come from $25 to $100.
Well stated.
That's the last time she motioned.
I second.
Motion by trustee Hubbard and a second by trustee Fasano. Any further discussion? We can do or do we have to do a roll call?
No, you can do a voice. Yes.
Voice vote.
Yeah.
Okay, then, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we will become fine-free July 1st, 2024.
Thank you. That's great.
Number 9 on our agenda, financial reports for March 2024.
I think we skipped it.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank
Just
you.
correcting me all over the place again.
Sorry, it's that kind of a day.
It has been. Number 8, Flyleaf Bakery contract amendment.
So Daniel and I met with Ann and Colleen, I don't even remember when, it seems a long time ago, but it was like within the last week or so, to discuss their contract with the library. So although I think ideally they would like to be closed on the weekends, we felt that it was important to have a presence on Saturdays when we do get a fairly high visitation. So they are still going to be open 9 to 1 on Saturdays and Monday through Fridays, 9 to 4:30. However, they did want to ask that instead of 60 days notice when they are going to close for other than an emergency or, you know, something sudden like an illness or something, that they only are required to give 30 days notice. So for instance, if they're going to close for the week between Christmas and New Year's, they'll let us know a month in advance. Or if they're going to be closed for a long weekend or something like that, they'll let us know 30 days in advance. So it's a one small change to the amendment that we had talked about a few months ago, but that's it.
And I would just add that we did have a real good discussion, and they're excited about things that they're doing, moving to a more of a grab and go concept. And like on Saturdays, cinnamon roll Saturdays specials to get people in. And so we just had a real good discussion with just a small modification. So with that, I'll make the motion to amend the Flyleaf Bakery contract. And we need a second.
I'll second that.
And so a motion by trustee Russo and a second by trustee Deachman. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
So it carries 6-1. Number 9, financial reports for March 2024.
Not really much to say, except that we're right on target where we need to be at this time of the fiscal year. We've got, well, according to this is the end of March, so we have 3 months left of monthly statements and to be looking at before the end of the fiscal year. And so one thing I'll just point out is that in our maintenance fund, it's the only place where we project we might be over on page 16 of your packet. And that was because we bought new computers for staff. But that the balance in that fund is very strong and healthy. So by going over slightly, well, it's over about $30,000, $30,000. We still have plenty of money in that fund, and it's not going to hurt us at all. And we anticipate when we levy, we will get in about $185,000. That's about what we get every year to put back into that fund. And that's really the only thing that I wanted to point out, because everything else we are under, because we're not through the year yet. And we're not even over yet, because we project we'll be over.
Okay.
It might be less than that. So,
I noticed the per capita grant is only half spent, but
Yeah.
that will be spent
Yes.
because it has to be, right?
yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, it will. Any questions about the financial statements? The working budget for March?
With no questions?
And also just, the working budget for next year is gonna look a lot like this. We are gonna have, like I said before, I mentioned, we're gonna add more money in fiction versus nonfiction, which is gonna be based on the checkouts that we see on a regular basis. There's much more fiction circulating than nonfiction, so we wanna put more money towards that collection then. So you'll see some changes like that, but there aren't going to be any major requests for any big changes. Just maybe things slightly moved around a little bit.
Okay. Moving on, number 10, comments from the board and the president's report. Does anyone have anything to share?
I do. This is the Friends of the Library t-shirt. It's only $10, and it's so cute. Very soft, very comfortable. So I recommend it.
Where do you get one?
You can order it through me if you want. And the Saturday sale, we did almost $1,200. I don't know what the Wednesday sale was. Also, we are going to have the annual meeting April 27th, 10 to 11:30. Just a reminder, everybody's invited.
10 to 11:30 on the,
April 27th, Saturday.
and we can just show up.
Yes.
I know I will be there, and I'm going to say a few words to the friends.
Oh,
Thanking them
good.
profusely for their generous support.
And they'll also have shirts or something there.
Okay.
Just one quick comment, you can also purchase the t-shirts at the checkout desk at any time.
Oh, cool.
And at the friend sale.
Good. Any other comments?
I was at a local event and someone came up and was talking about, nicely about the memory kits that, for Alzheimer's, that they had heard that the library had that and checked it out. Thought it was a great addition to the library, so just wanted to
That's great.
call that out as one of the new items that
They've already
is
been
being
circulating
received.
quite a bit. Yeah,
Good.
which is good. I think there's 5 or 7.
There's 5.
Five.
We will hopefully add more, going forward, but there's 5 right now.
And would you just take a minute to explain what the memory kits are in
Yeah.
case someone on TV doesn't know?
Absolutely. So the memory kits are geared for people who are battling dementia or other memory issues just as they age typically. So they have a lot of nostalgic things in there. There's a lot of sensory things in the kits. That's been proven historically to be what people are most responsive to, and having things that are tactile help to reduce anxiety, and things that are really nostalgic seem to spark the brain in different ways. So we have a few different kits on topics that will hopefully engage people. And we've added some books that are heavily picture-based. They're not picture books for children, they're for adults, but they feature a lot of pictures and offer engagement in that way to the collection to serve that community.
Thank you. Any other comments? Then I would just like to add, a little bit late, but last week was National Library Week, April 7th to the 13th. Since 1958, that's been a celebration recognizing all types of libraries, so public libraries, school libraries, college libraries, research libraries, corporate libraries, and a whole bunch of other type of libraries. And then April 19th was National Library Workers Day, which again points out how important the staff is for making libraries work so well and be that welcoming person that helps the public get involved with the library.
What day did you say that is?
April 19th.
So this Friday. So we didn't miss that.
No, we passed it.
It was last week.
You know, it's the L is actually the one that I read, so April 9th.
Maybe we didn't miss it. Did we celebrate on Friday?
In recognition of Library Workers' Day, Molly put together a little gift certificate for Flyleaf Bakery for every staff member for a free drink.
Oh,
So-
that's good.
It was
job.
very cute.
Well, thank you. And happy librarian day.
And then just along with us, with that for us locally, on the third Monday of each April of each odd numbered year in April, around National Library Week, the nominations for library leader are due. And Joanne Zillman has been the library leader for a year, and next year it'll be 2 years. So we will be taking a new, nominations for people who want to be, who think someone should be recognized. So this is really a good time to be thinking about who's made that special contribution. And then they'll be recognized in September for Library Card Sign-Up Month. So that is coming up a year in advance. All right. Then number 11, directors and librarians report.
So we published a request for proposals in the Kane County Chronicle and on Demand Star, which is a service for government agencies who are looking for contracts and bids, et cetera. And so the required meeting before they could submit proposals was last Friday. And we had, oh boy, it was at least 8, maybe 10 companies that showed up for a tour of the building to get an idea of where we want security cameras installed, as well as where all of the access control panels are. And there's about 4 that we don't have that we need to have downstairs in the lower level. So anyway, we took them on a tour of the building, interior and exterior, and talked about what our thoughts are, what our hopes are for this project. And the idea is that they have to submit their proposals by May 3rd so that I can then bring them to the Cal meeting for all of you to review and discuss. And then you won't be voting or choosing one until the regular meeting, and they are aware of that. So that's kind of the plan. And we are using special reserves money to pay for the security cameras and the fob access. But that's what I'm proposing we use to pay for that project. It'll be well under $100,000. Okay, so then staff updates for April. As you know, Lisa graciously offered to stay until we found a new HR manager, which we have not done yet. But now it's official. She and her husband have decided her last day has to be May 3rd. So we've got a few more weeks with Lisa, which we're happy about. And then, as you also know, that Joe graciously offered to stay. There was no threatening involved. He offered to stay. His last day is, I think it's the 22nd of May. Is that right, Joe? 23rd.
No more promises though, right?
He's seen us through the budget, and I can't thank him enough. And I don't want to read everything that I wrote because I don't want to get teary-eyed during this meeting that's going to be on cable TV. But both Lisa and Joe have just been such wonderful people to work with, and have just made my first year here really a great year. So I can't thank you enough, and I'm really going to miss you when you're gone. Okay, now I'm watering. So moving right along. Oh, and because Flyleaf, we know we're going to keep seeing Joe because we know he'll come back and hang out, and I can have coffee with him in the bakery. So I'm not too worried that he will be missing forever. Okay, so new hires. We have a new youth services associate, Mary Podrasky, who started in April?
Last week.
Last week. And then we are having another new associate in adult next week.
She starts Thursday.
She starts Thursday, so she didn't make it on the list, but she will be starting this month. She's a part-time associate in adult and teen services. Excuse me. We have a bazillion anniversaries in April. That is an extremely busy month for us in terms of hires in the past 32 years. And I say that because Michael Mollahan, who in circulation, he's one of our library pages, has been here for 32 years. He works on Mondays and Fridays, and he is our longest employee. He's out, he's worked past all of us, including Joanne, who was here forever. So let's see. And then we also have Roseanne in Adult and Teen Services. She's just made her 20-year anniversary. And Cindy Peterson just made 13 years, but she's also retiring. So she lucky 13, I guess. She decided that's time. And then we have Misty Jump in Adult and Teen Services, who is just reached her 10-year mark. And then there's a bunch of other folks. that are just under 10 years. Nance Barnett O'Neill in tech services, Melissa Cunningham, she's 1 year, Stephanie, 6 years. Anna Dunson in CERT, Kathy Feckner in YS, 1 year, Mark Galano is 2 years in CERC, he's one of our pages, and then Amanda in Youth Services has been here 8 years, so lots of longevity there. We had a big, well, I'll let, I'm sure Megan's gonna talk about the eclipse, but we enjoyed the eclipse. I hope everyone else had a chance to look at it. And then I joined the Adult Services Department, and we went on a little field trip to Windy Acre Farm.
Oh, yeah.
And I fell in love with the baby goat. And
Where is it?
I know, really, believe me. I was so tempted to just hide him in the back of
It's
my
in the reading
car.
garden.
Yeah. He's now a library mascot. No, his name was Georgie, and he was really cute. But anyway, so we had a nice visit with them. We're hoping to partner with them on some future things that we could do, some community events and things. So it was really a nice visit. Upcoming board meetings, next month is going to be busy. We've got the Decennial Committee, our final meeting is going to be May 9th, where I'll present to you the final draft of a report that we'll submit. I don't even know who we're supposed to submit it to yet. I still have to figure that out. But it will be somebody with Kane County, I'm sure. And then that should be 7 p.m., sorry. 7 o'clock p.m. So I'm giving the Decennial Committee a half hour, and then at 7, the Committee of the Whole will start. And we are going to, I have not heard back yet from one of the contractors I had reached out to about doing a proposal for us for strategic plan. But I'm hoping to have that, so you'll have the 2 proposals to look at the Cal meeting for the strategic plan. You've seen one, and I'm hoping to get that second one. We will also have a final draft of the fiscal year 25 working budget for you to review and discuss. In fact, our projector screen is fully functioning. There's a button behind Andrew that you push and it comes down from the ceiling. And then you'll see the new projector is right here. So we will be able to use this for board meetings or any other, for staff meetings, etc. And I can project the budget on here when we go over it. So I think that'll be helpful so we can all look at it on the screen. We have 2 annual ordinances. One is your regular meeting schedule. We have to have that set for July 1st. And then the ordinance adopting policy on service to non-residents. Those are required by law. Am I forgetting anything else? And also you'll be able to look at, it's not on here, but I will also have policies. We'll see. If it's too much with the budget, we can always postpone looking at those. Well, no. We should look at those RFPs for the security cameras also at the Cal meeting so that we can choose one. And I don't know how soon we want to start the project, but it would be nice to at least know who we're going to be working with, whether it's going to start in June or if we want to wait until July to install the security cameras. And then
Joe, is there any reason to wait till the fiscal year starts?
no, because it's coming out of special reserves,
So it doesn't
so
matter?
it doesn't really matter. I
Okay.
mean, I think staff, we would all feel better if we did it sooner than later.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, as long as there's no budgeting reason
no.
that makes a difference, yeah.
No. And then your regular board meeting is on the 21st of May, where you will approve those 2 ordinances. Hopefully, we will be done discussing and reviewing the budget so you can approve that. If for whatever reason we need more time, we still have June to finalize that.
But we
And
don't
then
have Joe.
hopefully.
But we won't have Joe.
No, we won't have Joe.
That's somebody.
And then hopefully I'll have that second proposal so you can approve who we go with, the strategic planning consultant. And that's all I have.
What about the July 4th meeting? I think we discussed that. July 4th is.
What day of the week is it?
I was wondering if we were
Third.
going to reschedule that county.
Is
We
it-
did talk about
Yeah.
moving it to the next week.
Yeah, a week later. Is that the that's the cow meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah,
it not
we'll
on
do
a
it.
federal holiday, yeah.
Making plans, so.
So now we can go on to adult and teen services. That's Megan.
So, yeah, as Joe mentioned, the big ticket item of the last week was the Eclipse glasses. We gave out over 2,500 throughout the building. So the people counter must have been really going crazy that weekend. I can tell you I was on desk and it was a high turnover of people coming for that. And then we had an Eclipse viewing party where we had 130 people come. So we had a nice event out in the garden with music playing with all kinds of songs with sun and moon in the title, and we had little snacks and more glasses for people there, and people really seemed to enjoy it. So that program actually is a pretty good example of kind of what I think we're going to be moving more towards in programs, because we're finding that the biggest responses we're getting are to things that have connection in the community and fun. So Sundays on stage, of course, remain really popular. That infotainment style learning people really seem to enjoy. Inclusion game night is really big. Our senior programs we've added are going really well. So I think we're going to be adapting more and more program to focus on those, because that's what our community seems to be attending the most, which means that's what the demand is. So we're really happy to see that and to kind of move towards it even more. We've also been assessing our collections a lot, as we've discussed, so we continue, kind of weeding and moving things around. The AV section is now done. It looks really nice. It's cohesive. It has a really nice flow. The shelving is uniform. And one thing that I was happy to see was after we removed the daily cap on Hoopla for our patrons, over the last year, each month we had an average of 364 patrons that were served, and in this past month of March we served 438 patrons. So it didn't really cost us that much more. It was very close budget-wise. It just meant we were able to serve a lot more people, so that's been nice to see. Hopefully that will continue. We expanded our teen space because we've noticed people were coming in and it was just feeling a little bit cramped, so we were able to just kind of spread the shelving out, which will let us add a little more seating, and potentially a table in there that's a little larger for people to keep using it. And we've noticed that, and the passive activity table near the desk where we have Maker Zone activities has been really popular, so we're going to keep expanding on that. One other thing we're starting to do as we assess things is to use data more in our ordering for the collections too. So our department has started denewing, which just means taking things out of new status to put in the regular collection, which is also a word that, it always tries to autocorrect me on because it's a made-up library word. But they're starting to collect stats more as it moves, which is the best way to see what people are responding to now when things are new and fresh and really popular, so we can get more of it. So we are excited to be having more data coming into our decision making for that. We're also working to create more call-out collections for better browsing. We're starting with graphic novels, which has been a nice project to be working with multiple departments on to have it organized, and we're now starting to change some call numbers for that. So it will be easier for people to find those things in the library. So that's our big project.
And now Liesl, our youth services.
I could just say what she said, because we're doing a lot of very similar things. Also a lot more data-driven decision-making on collection, purchasing. We are working across both departments with the graphic novel collection so that our call numbers are very similar, so as not to confuse our customers and make it easier for people to find things. I don't know how often all of you get downstairs, but Something Fishy is the name of the company that helps take care of our fish tank in terms of monthly cleaning and whatnot. And we've been having some issues with our fish and doing well in the tank. So the owner of Something Fishy came out with another gentleman and purely at their cost redid our entire fish tank and put in some new fish, removed the water, put in new plants. So it really looks nice, and knock on wood, plaster, they seem to be doing much better. We think it was an issue with our water softener. So we should be adding more fish soon, but if you haven't had a chance to check out the fish tank, please do. It looks fabulous. We have also been working with our marketing and promotions department and Kristen and Hans to promote some of our databases. We pay close attention to the statistics on that, and as I'm sure you know, a lot of them aren't cheap, and they're wonderful resources that sometimes go underutilized. So we've been promoting at least one every month, and I'm pleased to say that that seems to be paying us some dividends. We're noticing that we're jumping and doubling our usage of those for whatever the databases of the month that we have, promoted. So Educate Station was one that was recently promoted, and I never know how to pronounce it. It's either Lati or Loti for kids, which is a wonderful little database with a variety of books in different languages. So great resources, and we're going to continue to do that every month. So hopefully we'll see that upward trend. March, the end of March was spring break, and that was a very busy month for us, as you might imagine. You might recall it was rather rainy for much of the week, so we had a lot of friends and of all ages and taking advantage of scavenger hunts and all kinds of programming that we offered. So a big shout out to the youth services team for all of their energy and creativity that week, as always. We have also met with a representative from Play Illinois, and we're very pleased to thank the Friends very much for their support. We're going to be purchasing something called Harmony Bells, a major and a minor set that will be installed out in the library garden. You might have seen something similar at playgrounds where you see some of the musical instruments and things like that. That's what they are. And hopefully when they arrive and the weather cooperates and it's not too soggy, we'll be able to install those hopefully sometime in May or early June, depending on their arrival. And other than that, per capita funds were mentioned earlier by Daniel. We did purchase 2 AWE early literacy stations. What these are, closed systems with no internet, and they have a variety of learning games on them. So you might remember we used to have those big CD-ROMs with software on them. That's what they are, except now it's in a closed system. So no big discs or anything to check out, and they're wonderful touch screens. They kind of run from like preschool to like early elementary, and we'll be promoting those heavily during summer too, to kind of get the word out about them. And we also use some of our per capita funding to purchase some new items for the youth Spanish collection. So, and as mentioned earlier, we have 2 new employees, Mary Podrasky, who's our full-time youth services library associate, and Allison Wise, who is our new full-time librarian. So thank you so much.
Thank you for both of those reports. Would you just mention Dungeons and Dragons? Because I think people might be interested in hearing that.
That is actually a wonderful collaboration with a local gaming store, and Mallory, who is our teen services librarian, and Amy Marks, our school services librarian. And he's coming on a monthly basis, and as I recall, free of charge, I think, which is very generous. And it's drawing a good crowd, and sometimes some folks that generally have not come to our programs, and they are very enthusiastic. So yes, thank you Stranger Things, among other things, for making D&D popular again.
Thank you. It's really exciting to hear all the things that are going on. Joe, did you want to talk about the numbers at all?
Yeah, just one of the things I wanted to point out, on page 25 of your packet for the patron count in the past 13 months. So we have 2 trackers at our entrance. One is at the very front, before you even get into the lobby, before you access Flyleaf. And that was installed, I believe, during COVID, when we were doing a lot of curbside and limited services and stuff. The one that we had been using routinely was provided from Biblioteca. It's connected to the security mechanism as you walk in and out. And so what we discovered in having these two tracking devices is that the Biblioteca one is completely inaccurate, because we often get people who will come in and go straight to the program room or straight in here for a meeting or what have you, or to the cafe, and they don't get counted if they don't come through the security, the double doors by the surf desk. And so now we are just gonna go by the one on the outside. Who's it by?
SunSource.
Yeah, SunSource. And so you can see back a year ago, this is a 3,000, almost a 3,000 difference in patrons coming through. And I believe, we're gonna see that every month. We're gonna see from a year before that those numbers are gonna be higher, because I think we're using a more accurate counter, tracker, sensor, whatever you wanna call it. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, let's see, then, adult fiction and nonfiction are always the highest print things to check out on page 27. But with youth, it's nonfiction and picture books. Those are the two top circulating types of print materials. But with easy readers and fiction in a close, right behind those nonfiction books. And then on page 29, the circulation rates, you can see how our audiobooks, e-media library, these are downloadable audiobooks, that's the highest number we've seen in a year at 2,352. And then the Hoopla downloads, that's also the highest number we've seen, 895 in a year. Electronic book e-media library, that's the highest number we've seen in a year, 2,894. And electronic book Hoopla, 333, that's the highest number we've seen in that database, or in that electronic media source. So those numbers are going up, which is really great. We want to see those continue to stay strong.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know, why do you think that is, ladies?
I think the apps have gotten a lot better. They're a lot more user-friendly. More and more people know about them. I think libraries do a great job of promoting them. I know we're promoting them more now. I think as the population, I think you have an older part of the population that is more comfortable with smartphones, and I think that's going to continue to grow. And then you have fewer people that have ways to play old media, like CDs. It's no longer standard in cars, doesn't come with laptops. So I think it's just, we're seeing a shift in
Things
the,
getting phased out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for non-print materials, let's see, still our biggest circulating item are DVDs for adults as well as for children. With actually CDs behind that, and then audiobook CDs behind that. Those are the three top. But for kids, it's the DVDs. I'm looking at page 31. DVDs are still the most popular, then the video games, surprise, surprise, followed by the playaways, which are pretty popular with kids especially.
We couldn't have
As
one
well
more
as
with the
adults, but-
DVD for children.
I'm sorry?
We couldn't have one more with the DVD for children, 9,999.
So that's where we're at with the non-print materials. And then program attendance, we are up over 1,500 roughly in terms of program attendance from a year ago. That's a big leap. We're up on adult service, in-person programming with adults. We're up on virtual programming with adults, and I think that that is, a lot of it is the social media component that we do with our community check-ins, et cetera. reaches a big audience and it just continues to grow. It's very successful. And then youth services went up considerably from a year ago. So lots of growth there. And that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to highlight.
After COVID, it's nice to see all of
Yeah.
those numbers going up, especially the in-person ones.
Yep.
Well, number 12 on our agenda is the list of upcoming meetings that Joe already went through with us. So number 13 is adjournment, and I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Motion by trustee Russo and a second by trustee Fasano. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.